Hello there, you are watching Pecuniary Matters. Malaysia Airlines Company will set airfare price according to demand and supply. The Chief Executive Officer, Captain Izham Ismail, said that they use the dynamic pricing method for pricing, where the concept of demand and supply will determine the airfare prices for their airlines. This measure is implemented to safeguard the interests of the company due to the increase in operating costs, including the current increase in the price of jet oil, without wanting to pass on the cost directly to customers. He also said the use of the method also allows customers to choose higher or lower fares based on the demand and availability of seats, as well as the length of time bookings are made. To enjoy lower fares, customers need to book in advance and can review the promotions offered by their airlines. Ticket prices will be more expensive if customers make late bookings or limited seat availability, including taking into account the travel availability that other airlines offer. The concept of demand and supply has been used in this situation, where demand is the desire that consumers have for a good and services, and supply is the total amount of a goods or service that is available for consumption. Supply and demand had a big impact on the prices of products and services. Consider what happened with banana. Few bananas are currently available on the shelf, but many people are waiting to purchase it. The demand for banana is higher than the supply for the banana. This is because there are more people who want the banana, but the availability of banana is limited at the market. Knowing this, the banana producer may increase the price of the banana because they know that with a high demand, many consumers are willing to pay more to get what they want. Some consumers would decide to leave without purchasing any bananas because they are not willing to pay the higher price. What would happen if we add another producer to this situation, so that there are two bananas outlets? The demand for banana will be lower than the supply because there are more bananas available on the market. In order to increase the demand of banana, the banana producer may lower the price of banana to entice more consumers to buy it. Understanding demand and supply is key to understand our own purchasing behavior as well as the way business works. In any market transaction between a seller and a buyer, the price of the good and service is determined by supply and demand in a market. The law demand and supply is a theory that explains the interaction between the seller of the resources and the buyer of that resources. In any market transaction between a seller and a buyer, the price of the good and service is determined by supply and demand in a market. The law demand and supply is a theory that explains the interaction between the seller of the resources and the buyer of that resources. The theory is based on two separate laws, the law of demand and the law of supply. The two laws interact to determine the actual market price and volume of goods on the market. Law of demand states that if all other factors remain equal, the higher the price of a good, the fewer people will demand that good. In other words, the higher the price, the lower the quantity demanded. The higher the price of a good, the lower the number of interested buyers, since buyers want to save as much money as possible. Conversely, a cheap price will attract many buyers to the market. Therefore, the quantity demanded will be higher. Thus, we see an inverse relationship. Law of supply: generally, the supply of a good and its price are directly proportional to each other and follow a linear relationship. As the price increases, the supply of that good also increases. When prices of a product increases, producers are willing to manufacture more of the product to realize greater profit. Likewise, falling prices depress production as producers may not to cover the input cost upon selling the final good. Thus, we get a linear relationship. Producers seek to sell the products for as much as possible. However, when prices become unreasonable, consumers will change their preferences and move away from the product. That's why proper balance must be achieved whereby both parties can engage in ongoing business transactions to the benefits of consumers and producers. So, what we can do as a Khalifah? First of all, as a seller, we must set the price based on the actual supply and demand for the product. Besides, we should not create fake demand for the product or limit the supply in order to raise the price. This is because Islam promotes justice and fairness for both the seller and the buyer. If a price is undervalued, traders will suffer severe losses. Meanwhile, a higher price will exploit customers. Therefore, Islam encourages fair price for goods, which should be based on the actual supply and demand in market. That wrap up pecuniary matters in this time around. I'm Nur Mashita and thank you for investing your time with me.